Stacey and Meg, thank you so much for joining us today on the We Know Lanark County podcast. There's a lot going on these days, so I'm curious to see how you guys are doing in your business. And first off, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the history of Sinders, because it's been around for more than 30 years, I think, right?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, thank you for having us. Yeah, Sinders has been around for 33 years now. We have been here for majority of that. I'm not going to say how long.
We try not to say how many years of that 30 years.
Well, we went to high school together, so I know how long you've been around.
You're in high school, pretty much. Yeah, no, we've been here for a really long time. Watched the evolving of the wedding industry, which is completely different than when we started this. We've had to pivot quite a few times, but good pivoting now. And even through this pandemic that we're going through, it's made us pivot again massively, but it's kind of worked out in our favor in a lot of ways, which is really nice. And
I think half the thing too, though, we never stand still. We never stay static. So I mean, we have watched it change over the many years that we've been in the industry, but
right.
We had a year plan, we had a 5-year plan, we had things that we were about to set in place. So I think it was also just good timing in that sense, because we were like, well, let's get into this and let's get into this. We can expand this, and then all of a sudden this like boom of what are we going to do? Okay, all of that happens right now then. So I mean, take on 5 years of renovations in 3 months, and
no big deal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Got this, and we did somehow. Oh my gosh! Yeah,
well, it just shows how resilient you are, and how strong you are as business owners in the community. So kudos. With all of the pivoting that you've had to do, like you say, has that been about fashion trends or wedding trends, or what stands out in your mind?
All of it.
All of it.
Oh my gosh. So when we started, was big into, we had a dress called the tulip dress. And the only reason it's called the tulip dress because it was, there was embroidery on it, and it was the only embellishment on it was embroidery that was in the form of tulips. It was a basque waist, so that basque being a princess line at your waist, and a square neckline, full satin dress, big box pleats on the bottom, nothing to it. And that was the big thing. And then strapless showed up for 10 years.
10, 15 years.
Strapless was it. You didn't buy anything that had straps, no sleeves, no nothing. It was strapless, generally fitted, generally a lace up. And then they started into this thing called ruching. So everything had ruching on it for years as well. And things were in the beginning were very much, this is the fashion. This is how you wear it. This is what it is. End of story. There is no diversity whatsoever. Now it's unbelievable. Like when we went to Spain to go buying for the season, there were thousands of designers there, and it was so hard to choose because you had to look at everyone and who has what, and everybody's making something different. So you can still get those same dresses that we just spoke about, but you can also get stuff that like bohemian style is huge now, so full lace and lots of big bell sleeves and lots of embellishments and things like that on it.
Right.
There's so much diversity right now in the industry. It's crazy. You can get just about anything. Like if you can dream up a dress, somebody's made it.
Well, we always tried to push a little forward in the fashion stuff. I mean, you know Stacey, Laura, you know how crazy she is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how crazy she is. We always tried to push a little further. So it kind of helped to that sort of it became a thing with Pinterest, with Instagram,
right.
Like there was so much social media and everybody was exposed to these different styles. So that kind of helped too, that we were already on that different wavelength of the status quo is great and it's comfortable and it makes people happy. That's fantastic. But the little bit of oddities are things that we love as well. So I mean, that made it easy for us to pick different things and go a little bit further outside the box.
For sure.
Yeah, I remember I got married 10 years ago, and it was the strapless thing, and it came with like detachable straps. So thank God I had that, because I've got a bit of a bigger chest, so it was important to have something like some support, but you almost couldn't find anything like that. And then now you're seeing wedding dresses and almost every wedding looks different. Like you don't see that repetition that you saw 10 years ago when I was doing my wedding. So
not at all. You would like, we have had brides who've gone to a wedding the month previous to their wedding and the bride was wearing their dress.
yeah.
This was years ago, but that was a fairly normal thing. Because it was just, you sold the same similar gown and that's what everybody bought, was that similar gown. That's just what you sold.
Every designer made the similar gown.
Yeah.
Like it was something that became so popular in the industry that every designer made something really similar.
Mhm.
So I mean, even if there was one designer that was extremely popular, still all the other designers were making. So it was really difficult to get away from that. I mean, and maybe that's why we decided that customizations were so important, because we sort of started pushing, not pushing in a bad way, but pushing our brides to be like, what do you want to have? So yes, this dress is fantastic, I'm comfortable with it, and it's the thing that you see, so it makes everybody comfortable. But what can we do to it that makes, sorry, what can you do that makes it more you as well?
For sure. Along those same lines, how do you do the customization? Like what sort of timelines do brides need? Can they buy off the rack and do customization, or do you prefer to do it right from the start? How does it work?
Generally, it's really hard to go right from the start, because if you have not tried gowns on and you just had the idea of this is what I'd like to have, and you haven't tried on a style that looks similar to it, not always do you like the outcome on your body in comparison to looking at the model in that dress.
Right.
So a lot of the times we will start with the basic dress already done and then go from there. So a lot of the time it will be, we had one in Montreal where it was a fitted gown, full lace, mermaid, and she had to have sleeves for the church, and then she wanted the back all raised. So we just went and got extra lace, extra fabric, and did all that. So made it into what she wanted. She then wanted a cathedral veil, so we got extra lace and made the veil with the lace all around to match the train. So because it's easier to build on once you actually have the gown, almost the inside of the gown done.
Yeah. So start with something and then build from there.
Yeah. Because everybody's very much you have to see it. Like most people cannot envision things.
So true.
Right? It's hard to, and then it's hard for us to say to somebody, because we know what it's going to look like. I mean, I could say to you, I know you wouldn't be comfortable wearing a dress that's strapless. I want to put like a boat neckline on you because that's what's going to look amazing, and I know what's going to look good. But it's very hard to say to somebody, just trust me, I'll make you a dress. Most people will be like, no, no, absolutely not.
I have a lot of same conversations in the real estate industry, so I feel you.
Yes, exactly. Very similar. Be like,
I know what's going to be best for you, so just listen. Do what I say. So, Stacey, you design dresses too, don't you? You've become quite a designer.
Yeah. So Meg and I do a fair amount of it. I will push my opinions a lot more than Meg does, and sometimes just make it, and then she doesn't get a say on things. This is the problem. I love to design things, but most of my stuff is a bit outlandish and a bit in your face and a bit wild and a bit too much. I mean, for where we are, we're decently conservative in Ottawa. So a lot of the stuff that I make will end up going to Toronto, Montreal, or somebody who wants something really different. So the line that we've made called Jolica is a very sort of subdued line, but we know it works. We know they're great dresses, and they are all designed by us. So that's been fun. That's been
it was like 10 years, maybe more, 20 years in the making.
Yeah,
we talked about it
a lot.
And then one day, a couple of years ago, we were just like, let's just do it. Just do it.
Do it.
And it did. Yeah.
Throw caution to the wind.
But often we are saying often is, why not?
What's the worst that could happen, right?
Right. We could fail miserably.
When you're talking to brides, like what's your best advice for them when they come to the shop and they're brand new and they're excited and they have the ring and everything's happy or not? Maybe you have bridezillas and
always, but I think that it's bridezillas, but I think it's because you're so stressed. about everything. You want everything to be perfect. You want it to be this way. You've been picturing this since you were like 5, right? Because you're like, oh, a Cinderella princess. That's what I want to be. And now that you get there, you've worked yourself up so much. But what we want to, I think mostly is like, be open-minded. End of story. Just be open-minded. I know you come in and you have like that fitted dress and you want the long sleeves and you want it to look like this. If you're so narrow focused on that's exactly how you want it to be, and the gown doesn't look good on you, it's disappointing.
Yeah,
Right.
It's hard to understand how disappointing it can be.
Yeah.
So we definitely, I'd say there's 2 things. It's be open-minded and trust that we will ask you to try something that isn't insane. We just know that you might like it, because our girls are fantastic. They can read what is needed, what we'll like. They can read the party. The second thing is, be careful who you bring with you. It's fun. It's a great time. It's an experience. It's a really big deal. But you have to be sure that the people coming with you are going to want what you want, not what they want.
Not what they want or what they see, because everyone's perspective is so different.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that we've watched girls be crushed by a family member or a friend, and not meaning, like some of them do mean too. We've seen some pretty mean people, but most of the time, nobody means any harm by the comments they make. But we've had so many brides, and they're in the change room, we get them dressed, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is it. I found my dress. I love this one. And they walk out, and someone in the party says, well, I don't really like that. Makes your butt look big. And the bride is crushed. Like, most people don't have enough confidence in themselves to be, I love this.
Yeah.
I'll rock this dress whether you like it or not.
Which is a sad thing for us, because at this point we're like, no, you look amazing.
You look right. Yeah. You just loved this dress 2 seconds ago, but your bum doesn't look big. And maybe if your bum is larger than the rest of your body, that's such a good thing in a wedding gown.
Yes.
Because the curve is there. That's the whole, a woman's body is beautiful, and it's,
your fiance probably loves it. You just have to be confident with what you have. But that is exactly the reason why we say, just bring the people that are going to support.
Yes.
Support.
And support is very difficult. People don't often realize how, because Stacey's right, they don't mean it in a bad way. It's often an offhand comment that somebody doesn't think about, and they don't mean it badly, but we're like, oof,
you can't take that back. Yeah.
Do you find like it's better if people come back for a second visit to make the decision, or do people make the decision in that moment usually?
It's more often in the moment. It's such an emotional choice. It's an emotional experience. It's, some people can, absolutely, because, and I think maybe that comes down to confidence too, because if you are confident in what you feel, then you are able to keep that feeling, remember how you felt, and sort of portray it again. But if you come back a second time, especially if you're showing different people, it's almost as if you're trying to convince them of what you felt the first time, which is extremely difficult. But because it's an emotional day, it's a celebration, it represents you, trying to regain that emotion that you felt the first time, it can be difficult.
And try to choose one. Try to choose one gown. I mean, we have 500 gowns in store.
Yeah.
And like, there is probably going to be one dress for you, but there could be a few that look spectacular on you.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes it goes into, what's your wedding venue look like? What do your flowers look like? What theme are you going for? That kind of thing that comes into play. But it's hard, because it is one day, one dress.
Yeah.
Which I do have to say, I'm not that in, because during the pandemic, as terrible as everything has been, and as upsetting as postponing has been for a lot of our brides, the one benefit is you get to wear your dress twice. Because there are a lot of brides right now who are doing a very small ceremony right now.
That's so true.
And
right?
A reception next year. So I'm like, it's sad. I'm sorry I had to postpone.
Yes.
But I'm really glad you get to wear it twice.
But it's true. And actually, even some of the brides said, they're like, that silver lining is I get to wear this now and next year.
Yep.
Yeah. And like, you know what? You're totally right.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So as far as the pandemic goes, how has that affected, I mean, obviously because of the postponing of the ceremonies, you've probably seen a bit of a slump. Is that fair to say?
We thought in the beginning we were really worried because like everybody else, what are you going to do? What's going to happen? I don't know. What are all the weddings going to do? Luckily, majority of our brides, I would say almost all of our brides, have just postponed till next year.
Yeah.
We did offer previously a storage. We can store your gown for you.
Okay.
The dilemma now with storing is we have too many brides gowns to store. Like facility is just not that big. So we store as many as we can. Some of the girls are going to take them home till next year, and then they can bring them back to see the seamstress. But it was actually neat. Like Megs had said, now that we had months to sort of, what do we do? We're all fairly handy, and I say all as in like the entire team is pretty handy. And we renovated the entire building essentially by ourselves.
Almost entirely by ourselves.
Yes. And I think we had somebody come in we did have somebody come in and do the floors. And one hallway essentially of painting, because I don't want to go up 20 feet.
Right.
I was the only one who'd be willing to go 20 feet, but I did it last time when we painted. And let me tell you, that's scary because I don't like heights. So I was like, it's not.
Yeah.
But we painted the entire 3-story building.
Wow.
Redid every room, did almost every light fixture in the building, rearranged everything. So that's, like Meg said, that was our 5-year plan. Like we had an interior designer come in previous to COVID and say, okay, because the house needed a facelift, and we took it over, which was 5 years ago, 6
Going on 6.
Almost 6 years ago. When we took it over, they had not touched the building really, like the previous owners, for 20 years. Like they would just fix what they had to.
Right.
So when we got here, there was red carpet on the floor.
I remember.
Right? Yeah, like it just needed a lot of updating. So we did as much as we possibly could throughout the time, because it's a lot. Like to do the floor, that was 5 days alone just doing the flooring. Yeah. So we couldn't, we're like, when is it feasible for us to shut down the building and be like, nobody can come in? And we're like, we can't do that. So when this all happened, we were like, okay, guess that's what we're doing.
That's your sign.
Handy women. Yeah. And it worked out really well in our favor, because I did a lot of it, and you probably watched, we did a lot of it on social media. Because I was like, I don't know what else to do. I can't sell the gowns to you right now. Nobody can come and get you. We can't try them on, but I can show you guys what we're doing in the shop. Yeah. So actually we went pretty crazy haywire about renovating. People loved it. People watched it. And then when we opened back up again, it was great to see a lot of our brides who did come in said, oh my gosh, I watched the renovations. It was so awesome. It's great, and it's neat, because I was like, I didn't think that people would watch that. Like, I didn't think that people would.
You've built relationships with these people over a period of time, right? So they're invested in you as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so how has the process then changed? Like, do you have parties coming in to do fittings, or is it one at a time? How does that work? What does that look like now versus before?
Really lucky in that the house, I mean, it's a Victorian building, so it's big and the rooms are big. And so we've always kept it that in one room, it is a party in one room. It's been like that for a couple of years now. So we, and to each room there is its own change room as well. We had to go find the original doors, which thank goodness were in the basement. So we got really good at hanging doors.
Wow.
Let me tell you.
Those would be heavy too.
Yeah, they were heavy. Oh my goodness, it'd take a couple of us. Like, we'd call my kids and be like, "Hi, you guys want to come and bring up some doors from the basement?" I'm sure my kids didn't want to answer my phone call.
Good.
But like, we had to put a couple doors on because that's what they wanted instead of changing drapes, which so we revamped a little bit in that way, but it's very similar. So now we can have 2 brides at once in the building because it is fully separate. You're on either end of the building, and then we stagger them as well, so you're not even in the downstairs showroom at the same time. So that's worked out well. We've been pretty booked since we opened back up. I mean, Saturdays are now, you're not getting in for about a month.
Wow.
We want a weekend appointment. We did cut back our hours, which is nice, because I've never, even Meg, we don't take time off. We don't. We have our kids and we're back to work the next day.
As you can see, and I apologize if you can hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad mine haven't burst through the door, so we're doing well. So people wear masks and you have sanitizer and
Yes, absolutely.
so
Yes.
how does it work then trying on dresses? If like do you just steam them after each?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we either, it depends on the day if we can leave them out so that, because we know they won't be touched for a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
or steam them if they're needed the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the circumstances, but I mean, there's lots of different things that we keep track of, and it's, I don't want to say regimented, but it became a little bit different in the sense that it's not, it's a minimal amount that you look at, a minimal amount you try on. We sort of, it's a bigger discussion about what you're looking for and what you like before putting them on.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I think, and maybe it's because we've gained some trust, or a lot of the time it used to be you were coming to play. You'd bring 10 people with you and you want to come try on dresses because you watch that Say Yes to the Dress, and it's great. But it's also not, because it's also confusing then. Because we've had people come in and they've tried on 30, 40, 50 dresses, and that's not a joke.
Oh my
Like, into other bottle shops, they've tried on everything. Well, after a bit, you're like, I don't know if I could keep track of what I liked
You don't
or what
remember.
I didn't, or that would be really difficult. So I think now it's a bit more serious. You're coming to find the gown. You're not shopping around. It is, am I happy with the people that I'm working with? Am I happy with the service? Is this what I want? Great. Found it, done, happy, end of story. So yeah.
That's amazing. I'm glad you were able to kind of adjust to the new way we're doing things. It's good that brides still have that option, and it's probably scary for them going in and trying on clothes in a strange place, and yeah, it sounds like you've got it down to a science now.
I think so. I think we've done really well. I mean, it's different for everybody, right? So it's not just different for the brides, it's different for us and our stylists and everything. And so, like Meg said, we do a lot of talking with you even previously before you show up in the shop. I've even done like a video chat with brides, just so we actually can have a conversation and a rapport even before you get here. So it's not like you walk in and you're nervous and you're like, I'm not really sure, I don't know. Very different now, the way of shopping.
But it takes time too, I'm sure, for everybody.
For everybody, right? Yeah. You don't have to be in here for 3 hours and and try on more gowns, and it's much, and the trust is there a little bit more too. So when we're like, okay, here, try this dress on. This is because you like this part, and this part of one dress. This dress should have them all. So try this on, even though you don't like the whole look of it on a hanger, because it does look like a bag on the hanger.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that we're realizing even more too, because I mean, we knew that ahead of time, but there are certain things that we forget. But now, like having to reevaluate everything, Stacey's been pushing even more lately. This is on the hanger. This is on a mannequin. This is on a body. It's completely different. So you absolutely need to.
Right.
You absolutely need to try it.
Yes.
It'll be really
You're gonna have to cut this part out.
Hey, this is real life now.
You can just do a sequence of like working with children.
Yeah, we'll see how this all looks in 6 or 12 months from now, right? I do have a question about the Knight. What is up with that guy? Where did he come from?
Our Knight. The Knight has been with Sinders from the beginning.
What's his name?
The original owner, Mary, I don't know where she got him or why she got him, probably just because it's a knight in shining armor. So he's been here since the very beginning, and he's been hidden in the basement for a while. He was upstairs. I remember him, like when I first started, he was upstairs in one of the rooms as a prop. He's just been around. And so we laughed when we took over. We're like, oh my gosh, it's your knight in shining armor. Let's bring him back out again. And then we took off. People loved it. It was like our, what's the
mascot?
It's our gnome. It's our Travelocity gnome, right? So So we used to travel with him. We would go like to when we do bridal shows, he'd come with us to the bridal shows, and yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Does he have a name?
No, we never named him.
No, we never did.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I've given you some homework.
Yes, I'm gonna send that out on
Oh,
social.
yes,
I'm
we
gonna
do
it
like a
full.
big
We're gonna name him.
contest, and the winner
Yes.
get
Good.
something. That could be fun. That could be fun. We're coming to a close in our half hour here. Shockingly, that went by really fast. But no, it's so great. I'm so glad to hear all the stuff that you're doing and how well things are going. I have a couple of questions that I'm asking everybody that I'm talking to. So just kind of rapid fire, what's at the top of your head.
Okay.
So what is since we're talking about Lanark County specifically, what is your favorite hidden gem in Lanark County? Whether it's a store or a landmark or favorite place to go?
This is kind of a generic question, but I love that we have so much water. I love the waterways and the abilities that we have in this area. And because with COVID, my family's all been home. We try and do stuff with the kids, which is outside because you can't go in a building for a really long time. So realizing how different all the places are that are around us, and I was like, we're actually really lucky to have the amount of waterways, the amount of everything that we have in this area that we can do outside things. The walkways, I
actually that's a really good. That's a good point. Yeah, I was gonna say Rob's Lake, but that's pretty much that's a waterway. Yeah,
I think people from outside the area don't realize how much water we have with rivers and lakes, and what connects, and really you can get from Ottawa to the Rideau system just by going down the river. And not a lot of people realize.
No, exactly.
That is.
It's great. I mean, my family kayaks. They have now become avid kayakers, and they're out constantly. And it's great because it's so close. Like everything's so close.
A few minutes from home.
Hidden gems, eh? We've been on a Baker Bob's lately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite thing?
Everything. That's why I had to make a new dress, because I'm pretty sure it's Baker Bob's fault that I had to let out my dress. Totally. Not COVID, it's Baker Bob.
I know.
I don't think there is much that it isn't good.
I know.
Yeah.
Every fall I do a party for our clientele for Thanksgiving, and we have a big party at my house, and all of our past clients come, and they leave with a Baker Bob's pie.
Oh. Yeah.
It's a good party. It's a good time. So I feel you on that one. Yeah. And then you're a businesswoman. You've been in this industry for a while, and I'm curious to know, what is the best advice you've ever gotten?
To stick to what we believe.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a learning curve as well. I mean, it's not, we jumped in in a way and thought we knew more than we did, which is difficult because we didn't necessarily make the right decisions in the right certain things.
Yeah.
But we have a plan for what we want to do. We have a way that we see the business going. So sticking to what we think is the right way, with some background knowledge of it being a good idea, is something that took us a while to realize, to figure out, but is really important.
Really. Also, never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I don't think neither of us are very good at staying still, but I feel like the more we learn, the happier we are. Like I would never thought I was going to own this business, and never thought we'd end up here, and even I was like, I'm gonna live in a camper van, pretty much down by the river.
And down by the river,
right? That's exactly. I was like, it'd be totally fine living like that. I don't know. And now you're, running this business. It's and now we're on to a new adventure, which I can't say anything about. Yes. So,
but if you follow on social, you'll see sneak peeks and things.
Yes, I do follow.
Yeah.
Your YouTube channel is awesome. I love all the style videos, and like you said, watching the renovation, it's been a really cool experience from a distance.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job. Well, thank you so much for joining us on We Know Lanark County, and hopefully we will talk again soon about how you've grown out of this, and hopefully business stays good for you guys.
It will.
We're always looking at expansion.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Never stop.
Never stop swimming, right?
That's right. That's exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.